Welcome, welcome to the Mind Fuck Podcast. Welcome once again, my friend. Thank you so much for taking time out to hang out with me. I am uber grateful you're here. My name is Wanu Aleshe, and sometimes I do go by Amazing Soul. FCK stands for fun, compassion, and kindness. Now, on the Mindfuck podcast, what we essentially talk about is how to regulate our nervous system, how to build trust safely between our brains and body, and also how to reconnect with our inner child. Now, before we actually start the actual episode of today, we have a mini tradition where I have a list that I read. It's titled Reminders to Being Human. Now, the intention behind reading that list is to remind myself and also in the hopes to remind you on your journey. All right. Reminders to being human. Have fun along the journey. Show yourself compassion. Be kind to others. Being complex and being simple can hold true in the same breath. Stay curious. Hold space for pauses. Hold space for not knowing. Never underestimate the power of silence. Nature has a lot of wisdom. Pay attention. There is power in we than I. If nothing else makes sense, come back to love. Pain is our greatest teacher. And the very last one, never underestimate your ripple of existence. All right, now let's get into the fun part of the show. All right, I want you to picture something simple. You're in a room. It's not a big moment, nothing dramatic is happening. It's just a regular day for you. Maybe you're sitting on your bed or on the couch and you have your phone in your hand and you're just scrolling on your phone and you're not even enjoying it. You're just there. And there's this feeling in your body. It's not loud per se. It's not overwhelming. It's just there. Like this is kind of restlessness. Like something in you wants to move, wants to express, wants to do something, but you do not know what. So you stay still. You keep scrolling, you keep distracting yourself, you keep pushing down that feeling in your body that you're feeling. Now, I want to talk to you about that feeling today on the podcast because I have been there in my own life many, many times. And for a long time, I didn't understand what that feeling was. I used to think maybe I'm just lazy, maybe I lack discipline, or here's the one that kicks the bucket. Maybe something is wrong with me. I used to think that for a long time, and that wasn't the case, not even close. And what I did not realize at the time was that a part of me never got the chance to be a child. I mean, when a child doesn't get to be a child, that energy doesn't just disappear. It doesn't vanish. It doesn't go away. No, it actually stays. in the body. Your body is constantly keeping score of everything that has happened to you from childhood. Sometimes it shows up as restlessness. Sometimes it shows up as anger. Sometimes it shows up as overthinking. Sometimes it shows up as constantly needing to stay busy, or the opposite. Or sometimes it shows up as feeling stuck and unable to move forward. I want to walk you through this very slowly, not from a place of I already figured it out, but from the version of me who was still in it. And I remember this very specific moment in my life. I was younger. I was still living at home back in Lagos, Nigeria, and something small happened. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember the feeling. The body keeps score, right? I mean, I was upset about something, like really, really upset, but I didn't see anything. I couldn't. I wasn't allowed to express myself freely as a child because growing up, doing that resulted in being physically disciplined. And I had to learn very quickly how to survive, not how to feel. Now, so instead of expressing myself, instead of crying or speaking up like a child would, I swallowed it. My body suppressed those emotions. And I remember going into my room, closing the door, sitting on the edge of my bed, and just holding all those emotions in. I mean, my chest was constantly getting tight. My body felt hot, like hot, but I stayed quiet because somewhere in my body, I did not feel safe enough to express myself as a child. And moments like that, they didn't just happen once. No, they happen over and over and over again. The body learns in patterns, right? So what happens? All that energy, all that energy that wanted to just cry as a child, that wanted to speak up, that wanted to move, all that energy had nowhere to go in my body. So it stayed suppressed for decades. I mean, it started to show up in ways I did not understand. Like I would start to have like random bursts of anger over the very little things. Or I would just start to feel irritated for no clear, apparent reason. Or I would just start to overthink everything in my life. I mean, replaying conversations, thinking about what I should have said or what I could have said, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Or even moments where I just felt numb. Like I couldn't access anything. The only thing I could access for decades was anger, which is a protection mechanism, anyways. And I used to judge myself for that so hard. And I remember telling myself, damn, why am I like this? Like, why can't I just be calm? Like, why am I overreacting right now? But now, looking back at that version of myself, it makes so much sense because that energy never left my body. It just changed into something else. Lower back pain. And I want you to think about your own life for a second, not the big moments, the small ones. For example, like when someone says something to you and you smile, but inside your body, you feel something tighten, but you smile. Or, for example, when you want to say no and you say yes anyways, right? Or when you feel like crying, you really just want to cry, but you distract yourself instead. Or even something as simple as you just want to rest. Your body just wants to rest, but feeling like you always need to be doing something all the time. I will tell you this, my friend, that's not random. That is just energy that never got the chance to move in your body. You see, I remember when I first started noticing this in real time in my own life. I was in a conversation with someone, And they said something, right, that didn't sit right with me. And I felt it immediately here in my chest. I felt that tightness. Normally, what I would do before in the past is I would ignore that feeling. I would probably would smile and I'll have kept the conversation going. That's what I would normally have done. But this time, the moment I felt that tightness, I paused. Not dramatically, just internally. I was like, okay, oh, I see what's going on right now. I feel the tightness in my chest. And I remember thinking to myself, all right, something is happening in my body right now in real time. And instead of pushing that feeling away, I stayed. I stayed with that feeling. I will say this, it was uncomfortable, like really fucking uncomfortable. Because I haven't done that before. It was new to my body. My body wanted to move away from it. My body wanted to distract. My body wanted to change the subject. My body wanted to pick up my phone. But I did not. I stayed. I just noticed it. Awareness, my friend. And I will say this, it did not disappear instantly. No, but something in that moment started to shift. And for the very first time, that energy wasn't being pushed down anymore. That energy was being seen. Awareness. Awareness, my friend, is so fucking powerful in this journey. And this is something I had to learn the very hard way. That the body doesn't need you to fix everything. No. Your body doesn't need you to analyze everything. No. Sometimes what your body needs you to do is to stay and not abandon yourself. That's it. Because when you do abandon yourself, the energy builds and the energy finds other ways to come out. That's what happens. Like snapping at someone you care about when it's not really about them. No, it's not. Or feeling exhausted all the time, even when you haven't even done much during your day. Or even, for example, constantly needing stimulation because stillness feels uncomfortable to you. And I'll tell you, I went through a phase in my life where I couldn't even sit still for 30 seconds. It felt impossible. Even when I was tired, I would reach for my phone to stimulate my brain. Dopamine. I would open social media and just scroll endlessly. Not because I wanted to, but because being still felt too much for my body. And I did not understand why for the life of me. I did not. Until I realized sitting still meant feeling your emotions. And feeling your emotions was something my body had learned over the years how to avoid to survive. Because it didn't feel safe growing up to feel. It didn't feel safe to express my emotions. So, of course, my nervous system would do everything it could to keep me away from that. Of course, this is where the understanding comes in. And this is where I actually want to be very clear with you, my friend. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. What you're experiencing right now makes sense. I will say this. If a child did not feel safe to express themselves, their body would adapt to the environment. The body would learn don't feel too much, don't say too much, stay small, stay quiet to survive. That's what the nervous system does. And that doesn't just turn off when you become an adult. No, it's memory, stays in your body. Your body remembers it until something in you starts to notice it. Now, I'll give you another example. Probably there was a time where I was alone late at night in my room and the lights were off. And whew, I felt this wave of sadness out of nowhere. And my first instinct was to distract myself by emotionally eating or by opening Instagram and just scrolling, doing anything but not feeling. But this time, I did not. I mean, I literally, in real time, put my phone down and I just sat there. And I remember saying to myself, very simply, I'm noticing this feeling in my chest, and that is okay. You're safe, Wanu. That is okay. That's it. Not trying to fix it, not trying to even understand what was going on, just staying with myself without abandoning myself in real time. I just stayed there. I don't know, probably what, 60 seconds to 90 seconds max, I think. It was uncomfortable. I will tell you that. My mind kept trying to pull me away, right? But I stayed. And after a while, something started to soften. It wasn't dramatically, no. It wasn't like everything disappeared. No, no. But just enough for me to start to realize, oh, wow, this is what I've been avoiding all these years in my life. And that moment changed something for me. It did. Because I started to realize that the energy wasn't the problem. No, what I was feeling wasn't the problem. The emotions wasn't the problem. Avoiding the energy and the emotion was, right? Energy, emotion. And I want you to think about something, my friend. What if that restlessness you feel in your body isn't something to get rid of, but something to start to listen to, pay attention? It's just information. That's it. What if that irritation, that overthinking, that constant need to stay busy in your life is just energy looking for a safe place in your body to land? You just got to listen because that's what it was for me, right? A part of me that did not get to speak up and express themselves freely as a child finally is trying to be heard because now the environment is different, right? And a part of me that didn't get to feel finally trying to be felt. And when I started to meet myself, instead of avoiding the energy, avoiding the emotions, things did not magically become perfect. No, that's not how it works, right? But they became clearer. I started to understand why and how I survived all those years from childhood. I started to notice my own patterns. I was like, oh, that's what my nervous system did to allow me adapt and survive. Like I would say yes for so many years. When I meant no, people pleasing, or I would avoid certain conversation because they made me uncomfortable, right? And I didn't want to disrupt the peace, or I would judge myself for things that doesn't even make any sense. And instead of trying to fix all those things that I started to see all at once, no, I started with small, everyday, ordinary moment. Very small, very minute, mundane, ordinary moments. Like noticing my body when I wake up in the morning before reaching for my phone. That's what I mean by mundane, ordinary moments. I mean, just feeling my feet on the ground, right? In the morning, I'm looking around my room like I'm seeing it for the first time, or taking a sip of water and actually noticing the water go through my throat. Or when I feel this tightness in my chest, I just pause for a few seconds, not to change what I'm feeling, just to notice what's happening. And over time, those small everyday moments, they started to build something, the foundation of trust and safety. They started to build capacity for those emotions to fully, safely process themselves, the ability to feel without immediately running away. That's how you build capacity, my friend. And with that came something else: trust, 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 safety. not in big dramatic ways. No, in a very quiet way. Like my body started to realize, okay, maybe it's safe now. I'm actually in a different environment or a season in my life. I'm not where I used to be as a child. And that's when things started to shift for me in my life. Not because I forced them to, no, but because I stopped fighting what was already there. So if you're listening to this, my friend, and you recognize yourself in any of this everyday moment I have mentioned, I mean, the restlessness, the overthinking, the feeling of being stuck, right? I'm not going to tell you to fix it. No, I'm not even going to give you a long list of things to do. No, I'm simply going to invite you to notice. The next time you feel something in your body, right? Pause, even if it's for a few seconds. Excuse me. And say to yourself, I am noticing what's happening in my body right now. That's the invitation. That's it. There's no pressure to change it. None of that. There's no pressure to even understand it logically. None of that. All we're doing here is noticing in real time what is happening in our bodies. Because that energy, my friend, has been waiting a very, very long time. The energy has been waiting not to be fixed, no, but to be felt. Right. And maybe, just maybe, right? That's when things really starts to move in your life. As always, my friend, I want to thank you so much for taking time out to hang out with me. I want to thank you so much for listening. And I'm sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Thank you.